The stock market, the crypto market could be racing to new all-time highs. We need to go and check out with the charts to see what exactly is happening. NVDA market cap overtaking Apple's market cap. We're going to take a look at those two charts as well in this video. So the major indices with the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100, and Russell 2000 stocks. We'll talk about each of those and what could potentially be coming for them from a technical analysis standpoint. So let's put SPY up here, and then we'll move through the indices, get to NVIDIA and Apple, and then we'll move into the crypto stuff. So for SPY, check this out. Let me take some of these technicals down for a moment. There we are. And what you see when you look at this is the blue, which is right here, is the 20-day. The pink is the 50-day. And I said that yesterday, the fact that Friday we sat on top of the 50 was a bullish thing, and we had just an incredible move up yesterday. And then 605.60 in the pre-market, we are racing towards that new all-time high for the S&P 500, tracked by SPY. We really need to get on top of 609.83 that we just couldn't quite make it up on top of that. 609.83, write it down. We get up on top of that, one full candle on top of that, and we have a significant upside. Not only would that be a higher high than what we had before, but that is also a very critical Fibonacci extension value that we want to be watching for. It caused a pretty big rejection last time. Getting on top of it as support is going to be really strong support that we want to watch for further bullishness. So moving into the Qs, what in the heck do we see when we look at QQQ tracking the NASDAQ 100? I talked about this trend line yesterday, said that the fact that we closed above it on Friday was bullish, and that we even retested it yesterday is that update that we have for that. So that really is showing now as solidly support, and you can see the move up that we have in the pre-market hours, almost a full % up in the pre-market hours. So that new all-time high would have to come in from a regular trading hours standpoint, 539.15, and right now we're about 529. So we're within a little over a % away from getting there to that new all-time high. And if we do overtake that, that's going to be incredible for us. So watch for that for the Qs. If things keep on going, we have President Trump going out making a lot of speeches talking about how we're going to make a lot of money, I believe is how he says it. That was probably a pretty terrible impression. I don't do Trump impressions, but I did listen to his speeches from a market standpoint to see what he had to say. And when we get to NVIDIA, I'm going to bring some more of that into it. So let's move on to IWM. Tracking the Russell 2000 stocks yesterday got just below the 50-day. I said we need to get on top of that. So watch for a potential rejection. If we get there, we might bounce off it at first. But again, and I talked about the factors that could impact this in terms of GDP, inflation, unemployment, you name it. For IWM, for the Russell 2000 stocks, we need that easy monetary policy coming in here. So a drop in the bond yields could be a very good thing for us. Watching interest rates come down, cheap, easy money. The Russell 2000 stocks are absolutely going to love it. And the more that we get to subdued inflation, stabilized unemployment, lower federal funds rate, high GDP, those are all going to be things that spell dollar signs for the Russell 2000 stocks. So now NVIDIA, Trump talked about the United States, I believe the number was $500 billion. You're welcome to fact check me on that one. Spending on AI infrastructure and build out. So for NVIDIA, up, well, pretty significantly here, about 3% in the pre-market hours. Honestly, I think that this could be big enough news that sends us to new all-time highs for NVIDIA. We want to be watchful for that. The highest high that we had, let me see, in terms of peaking out here during regular trading hours, 153.15. Maybe 160 is in the cards for this. We're going to have to watch and see what NVIDIA does for us during that time. Also watch those previous tops as we keep getting that selling pressure right around 153 that happened back here for this previous high in November. And then this high point that we hit in January 7th, and each time just sell down, sell down, sell down. So expect some initial selling pressure. Maybe it comes in. If we get on top of those values, that's going to be huge for us moving forward. The NVIDIA market cap, by the way, about $3.45 trillion. Apple, after this sell-off that it's seen, dropping down about $3.35 trillion when I last looked at it. So NVIDIA has overtaken it by market cap. And if you look at it as per the heat map that we have right here, this is sorted out. Let's go to the S&P rather than the NASDAQ 100. There we go. And you can see when we look at electronic technology, NVIDIA shows up first in this list because it's the largest by market cap. Apple just behind it. You can see they're almost the same size as one another. When we look at that and then look at Broadcom, AVGO, coming in still pretty darn big company when you look at it, and just look how it dwarfs just the other companies that are out there that you look at in the S&P 500. So absolutely huge by market cap. NVIDIA overtaking Apple, and this price up for NVIDIA is going to be huge. The price down for Apple, huge in terms of market cap implications. Now for Apple, the thing that you want to pay attention to is look at that price action. This is the 200-day that's coming up here. And I said this could be an area where you find that bounce. And I said it over in the Discord, which you can find access to through the link for the Patreon down in the description. Click on that, sign up, see my technicals, my buys and sells, and talk to me and my community members. We're going to move on from there. We could see that bounce so far, getting a little bit of a bounce into the close yesterday. Pre-market hours still a little bit subdued. Now, we did not touch the 200-day. We want to watch and see for that bounce around the 200-day. If we do get it, we've had a significant sell-off from the peak of this thing for Apple. And tariffs are just one of those things that are not going to treat Apple very kindly as well. Down over 15% from peak to trough so far. We don't know the bottom's in, but honestly, like I said, for a huge company like Apple, one that definitely tends to stay on the bullish side of things for so long, a bounce off the 200-day makes a lot of sense. Maybe we come back up. The 50 has already been retested once, so we'll see if we get that again. And if you look left a little bit on this, you can see that we get some mix over buying and selling, that the bulls and bears tend to fight over about the 220s, and that's about where we're at right now. If we get rejected off the bottom of this thing, we could sell down. We want to watch and see if the 200 holds as support, or if it's going to turn it into held at resistance for us and a further sell down. I think that there's going to be a fairly incredible return by Apple standards sometime in the near future. You're not going to keep a good dog down. And with that, we'll move over into Bitcoin. Bitcoin, we need to get on top of 107,892. That is the value that you should write down. That is a critical Fibonacci extension value. And you'll notice a new line if you watched yesterday's video. 116, 168 is a low price for us. If we can get on top of 107,892, then we're looking at 116,000 plus per BTC, probably in the very near future. Now, this trend line comes off of peaks that we had historically. Let's go to a monthly chart and we'll reset the view so you can see it. This is what we're looking at, going all the way back to December of 2017 and then touching this peak here, April 1st of 21. You'll notice we haven't hit that. And when you look at the peaks, you can actually see what it looks like when we do happen to run into those. So this trend line off these previous peaks in 2021, we actually came down in January, tested it as support, and took a rocket ship off that one. And so we can watch for that to be potential resistance for us coming off those peaks, because, well, when we get that high, you have Fibonacci extensions and trend lines to rely on to say of exactly where things could go, especially when you have something as hard as crypto it is to really pin down a fundamental value. Let's move over to XRP. For XRP, we need to get on top of 340. We got rejected. As soon as we got to 340, we dumped. And that was the price target that I had there. Getting on top of that is what enables the rest of this flagpole to play out. We're seeing decent buying pressure right now for XRP. And so we want to see that keep going. And in order to see that keep going, let me put up my EMAs right now. You can see right now we're still riding on top of the 5 period, which is this green exponential moving average that's on here. So let's move on from there, and we're going to wrap things up. So what are we looking for here? Well, right now the market's probably pretty darn excited with no other signposts really for this week, possibly even next week. The PCE, I guess, would be the big thing, and I believe that that is this Friday, as a matter of fact, so we'll watch for that. If we get subdued inflation numbers there, then we have green lights. Corporate earnings are one of those other things that we can look for. Netflix putting in some really incredible numbers for subscribers. I think 243 million was the number on that one, and that's a nice little kickoff for big tech. Tesla's probably not too far off in the future. Here's a matter of fact, I'll get you a date on Tesla earnings, so bear with me here. TSLA, there we go. Tesla earnings coming up on Wednesday the 29th. I will put out my Tesla earnings projection, my Tesla stock price prediction prior to that. So be watchful, subscribe to this channel if you haven't, so you can see the moment that that video drops, and we'll see exactly what to expect for Tesla. Now, mind you, EVs, not really seeing too much favor at the moment because of the of Trump's actions that he's taken to pull back from legacy companies having to put out EVs in the future here. I don't have too many details on that. I do just know that for the EV side of things, not great, but Elon aligning himself with Trump, it's probably going to still be favorable for Tesla. Plus, Tesla isn't only EVs, they're also tied to the AI space, to the robotics space, and they still have the renewable energy business that I think is still going to really provide for them over time, plus expanding services. So Tesla still definitely bullish on Tesla. Really looking forward to doing that Tesla stock price prediction and earnings projection for you and putting it out here. So just to wrap things up here, still bullish on crypto, still bullish on stocks, still cautious right now because we don't have the all-time highs in, but I do think that there's a large potential that we actually do still continue to hit new all-time highs from here. Let's see subdued inflation from PCE numbers coming out. We really want to see also paired with that consumers are staying strong when we see personal income and outlays. So strong incomes and also strong consumer spend with subdued inflation. Those can all be very good for us. And then it's the labor reports that we look forward to in February to see what exactly can come next for us. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Check out the links in the description for the Patreon. Come and join my community by clicking that link and signing up. And if you want to learn to do this technical analysis yourself and get access to the bread recipe trading strategy through Stockmo Academy, Stockmo being a personal friend of mine, developing the trading strategy that he and I both personally use, is taught through the Stockmo Academy technical analysis course with the bread recipe trading strategy, and you can get it for a discount using the coupon code Dr. DOCTOR. It's going to give you a massive discount on that, and you can also get access to a learning community within that course that also helps you not only set up like the course does for the bread recipe, but it can also help you out with some of the nuances of that trading. So guys, take advantage of those links down in the description. Thanks for watching. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning. I'll see you next video.